Were you a big fan of Michael Jackson?
I wasn't really a big fan of his. I know he was a real talented man and a really good singer and dancer, but I wasn't really a big fan of his music, maybe more so as I got older, but not when he was young. When I was growing up, I wasn't.
What did you think of the escalation of computers in the virtual world?
Well, I think it was a good thing. When I was going to school at MCI, it wasn't offered to us. So I really didn't know a whole lot about computers. Still don't know much about computers, but I definitely think that it's the way the world was heading. And I think it's good for kids to know about them because it's definitely good for the future.
Do you remember when Elvis died?
Yeah, I remember when Elvis died.
How old were you?
Oh,
It's in 77.
77. I
14?
was like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. A lot of people were very sad when that happened.
You remember where you were?
I don't remember for sure where I was. I know a lot of people probably do, but I don't recall. But I remember hearing it on the radio, but I don't remember where I was.
Were you a big fan of his music?
Yeah, I think because my parents were big fans of his music, so it was around and I did hear it. It was okay, but I think I liked it a lot more as I got older.
What was your favorite type of music growing up?
Well, when I was a kid, it was pretty much country because that's what was always on. At home was country, but as I got older, I got to be a teenager, it was rock and roll. Still is, but I still like both. I still like country and rock.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about the Charles Manson murders? What you thought of them?
I don't really remember a lot about it because I believe it was like 69 or 70, somewhere in there. And I still, I was only like 7 years old, so at that time I don't really pay that much attention to it. But
What do you think of it now?
well, I think it was pretty gruesome murders. I can't believe what he got those girls to do for him. See a lot of documentaries and biographies about it, and he's still in prison where he belongs.
Do you remember anything about the flood of 1987?
The flood of '87, we were living in Detroit still, and I know we got the day off that day, either that day and the next day, I'm not sure, but yeah, there was a lot of water, and they canceled work. And one of the worst parts of it was you driving in it. If you had to drive in it, you didn't know what was under it.
Right.
You didn't know if the tire was there or if it wasn't there. So you kind of took your chances. You either had to turn around. I was with a buddy of mine down in Unity, and we stopped in one spot and opened the car door up, and the water run right in the car. So that was plenty of water.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about the ice storm of '98?
Yeah, I actually remember quite a bit about the ice storm in '98. And we were living here in Heartland then. And we were fortunate, we only lost power for 8 hours. And I was downtown when the power came on. And I got back here and our power was on. So we were pretty fortunate to be tied right in with downtown power. But my mother-in-law lost her power for 2 weeks. My dad lost his for almost 2 weeks. And my mother-in-law's down there, all the telephone poles on the hill broke right off on the top, so they were a long time getting that power back.
I didn't know that.
Just from the weight of the ice, all the way down the hill, every light pole snapped right off.
Is there a big difference in wages from when you were a kid to what you make now?
Yeah, quite a difference. When I was a kid, I worked for my grandfather in the woods, and basically when I was a kid, I didn't really make anything, but when I got to be like 7 to 12, 13 years old, I made like $10 a day working in the woods, and I guess, I don't know, I guess that was pretty good money for a kid, I don't know. But nowadays, it's quite a lot different than it was then.
What do you make nowadays compared to then?
What do I make a day now?
Yeah.
Well,
A lot more?
a lot more, yeah. Let's just leave it at that. I don't need the whole world knowing what I make.
And what are some differences in everyday life from then to now?
Oh, I don't know, I think there's a lot more pressure nowadays than there used to be. Seems like life was just a little bit simpler then than it is now. More bills, more things to deal with, I guess, than it was back then. It seemed like it was a little simpler then than it is now.
A lot more material things too.
Yeah, there is.
Very good.